106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Guys, welcome to Double Impact. I'm your host, Gabe Eltaeb. It's a recorded show tonight. You'll be watching this on Wednesday, November 13th. It is my wedding anniversary, so I'll be being romantico instead of doing a live show with you guys. So here he is, the great Jericho Green, my host, my sometimes lover, my friend. Did that just slip out? Oh, it's feeling too romantic. Oh, no, we've been exposed, Jericho.
No, there's nothing to be exposed here. Hell no.
There's nothing to be ashamed of.
No. That's not what I said. Run back the tape.
Oh.
The aforementioned anniversary is for him and his wife, not him and I. There's never been
for me and you, it is like coming up on how many years have we been doing this? You joined us when we were doing Steven Seagal, I remember.
At least 2 years.
It's been at least 2 years, if not longer.
You go way back.
If not longer. So enjoy this pre-recorded, that's a word, pre-recorded episode of Double Impact. Guys, we're changing up the format a little. We agree we've been doing this for like two and a half years, and getting granular on movies, every frame, and discussing it is really fun, but it seems a bit niche, and I really want to grow this. We're going to be talking about current events and how they always relate to pop culture, and then I think every week we'll talk about a movie we love. But I think breaking it down frame by frame, I think we're gonna move on from that for now. But let me know. Like the customer's king, the fans are king. You let me know. If you demand we do it and go back to it, we will. But I want to know what you think of this new format. We talk about things we're interested in politically and entertainment-wise, and then talk about the movies we love. Because this will always be a movie-centric show. 80s movies, mostly, some 90s. But it'll always be macho action adventure focused, this show. But so today, I want to bring in this concept. Share screen. Got to share my screen. I think, Jericho. So the events of the last week. This is a week after the glorious re-election of Donald J. Trump, and I have Commando up here. A great, even though Arnold turns out to be a turbo beta cuck now, saying "screw your freedom,
screw your freedoms."
We're gonna forget that for a minute. We're gonna forget that for a minute, and I'm saying we're going back to this stuff, Jericho. We're going back to the 80s in entertainment. I think Hollywood, video games, TV, streaming, I think a lot of it is going to come back to giving us this stuff. I could be wrong. I pray I'm right. But I think Trump's mandate, his popular, he won the popular vote, the electoral vote, the Senate, the Congress, everything. I think everybody has had an ass full of woke And now that more and more people have stood up to it and just said, you know what, call me a bigot. I don't give a shit. I think it's emboldening people who wouldn't speak up at first. I spoke up years ago. You spoke up years ago. But I think people are finally, like, normies are joining us now. And I think you could see it in the failures of super woke video games and movies and all that. And I think we're coming back to something like Commando. So do you agree, or do you think I'm like this wishful thinking?
No, I think election night was the first domino that fell, and now it's knocking over all the other ones. It was, like we were talking about before, the way the margin that is between them, the margin by which he won, that's not just Trump supporters. That's those Trump supporters are no more. It seems to me, judging by the color of the voting maps that we're seeing and the numbers that we've seen, and as you mentioned, the House, the Senate, the presidency, the Supreme Court,
everything.
That says to me that everybody's a Trump supporter. At least this time around, that tells me that everybody is tired of this shit. Everybody wants.
It tells me you can walk down the street and comfortably assume the majority of people agree that they hate woke. They hate it. Everyone hates it.
Yeah, we're not supporting Trump. We're supporting his message and his policies, because his message and policies are ours. Trump, the reason Trump is making history and breaking all these records, and the first Republican to do this and do that, and the numbers increase with this group and that group, is because we finally get 226 to 312. That's not even close. So we finally have a politician who says, what do you guys want? Okay, I'll go tell the rest of them what you want. That's all a politician is. You're a PR guy. You're that college student in those cat glasses with a clipboard following us around, reminding us of our appointments. You work for us. You're our assistant. We tell you what we want. You go make it happen. And Trump is doing that. Look at these numbers.
Right. What was the left offering us? We hate men. We hate men and everything about masculinity. We hate families. We hate heterosexuals. We hate Christians. We hate America and its history. And by the way, your border's wide open. So that's what you're offering me. Oh, and we want to tell perverted things to children. The few children we don't kill with abortion, we want to tell nasty shit to, is what the liberals have been saying. What in the hell? Who would vote for that? What are they offering us?
It's like Trump saying, look, I'm going to make your lives cheap. We're going to be respected around the world. We're not going to waste money. And we're going to start making the rest of the world pay their fair share. And I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that you get this pursuit of happiness that you were promised in the Constitution. And then the left goes, hey, we'll let you cut your dick off. Anybody? No. Get out of here.
With these
that shit. That's no message. That's just a bunch of emotional gobbledygook nonsense. All they had was Trump's Hitler and killing babies. That's a pretty shitty resume.
Right. Oh, and you're all racists, by the way.
Oh yeah, you're all pieces of shit. All of you.
My favorite thing is they haven't learned, at least the mouthpieces. If you turn on any of the clips from MSNBC or The View or whatever, it's like, I can't understand it. They just must all be racist, sexist, misogynistic, homophobes. They've been ranting that since 2011 or 12, that if you disagree, you're a bigot. And I hope they never learn. I hope they never learn, because it's not working. Everyone is not afraid of them anymore. There is no more canceling. You can't cancel us. Fuck you. We are the media now. X is the media. Jericho's the media. I'm the media. You're not going to say something about me with your powerful media, and then I can't do anything back. You lose. You lose. Good day, sir. You lose.
Good day, sir. You shouldn't have stole those damn fizzy lifting drinks. You're out of here. Look at that. There's no more red states. There are red pockets. There are red county. Red blue. You're always going to have California, Oregon, and Washington, and like New York. Don't even count those. But there were places that were flipped like a dirty mattress all across the country. And that's everybody saying we are sick of it. So damn this Trump supporters. It's just people. That's everyone. They kicked the shit out of Kamala. And she didn't even have the common courtesy to come out and say, hey, guys, this wasn't the way we wanted it to end. Let's keep fighting. And a good point. Finally, Charlemagne the God makes a good point. He said, how come nobody's shouting from the rooftops this morning that Trump is still a Hitler, that he's still a fascist? Okay, Kamala lost. She got curb stomped politically. But how come you're not still saying, hey, America, the Hitler's in there? We got Hitler. He's a fascist. Wait, stop. No, they should be yelling that even louder than they were during the campaign. So what happened to that?
I don't know. You were never a libtard, but I'm sure like me, you were just more of a normie 15 years ago, 20 years ago. You're like, whatever. And you just kind of, and then this woke stuff started to grow and get weirder and weirder and more perverse and more satanic and evil and just hateful of hatred of everything good and prosperous. And I think it woke so many of us up to be like, oh, I got to get involved. I got to say something.
Mm-hmm.
We can't just carry on. I really woke up like 2011-ish or something like that. I started to really question things. I started to read online because it's like, what is all this? Social justice? What does that mean? I look it up and it's just like, and it sounds good, but like everything they do, it's a lie. They use a good name for something awful, And so I started looking into what is social justice? What is a social justice warrior? All this stuff. And it was just like, oh, well, I don't agree with any of that, and being a non-white person in this country and also being non-black, you stand outside of that dichotomy that is forced on us from the elites of white people hate you blacks, white people just hate you, that you could tell me better living as a black person. That's all they try to tell you all day. White man gonna get you. White man gonna get you, and it drives a lot of black people crazy. It upsets them, makes them feel defeated, and it's such a disgusting lie. If I tell you, Jericho, you can't succeed because you're black and the white man's gonna get you, a reasonable person might just give up on life. Then if you tell them it's rigged, it's such a hateful thing to tell people. Like, do you feel the attack? Do you feel the pressure of that stuff constantly?
I would say an unreasonable person would believe that because I've heard
But I
that
mean, if you're
before.
brainwashed in it from age 5 years old until 25, you can blame them somewhat. But if every person and the church and the school and the mom and the dad and everyone is telling them the white man's going to get you, it's rigged, they didn't have a chance.
I would say that's true to a certain extent, but then you get out in the world and you start to see, oh, it's not like that. Oh, that's not true. And turns out these people are pretty cool. And I had this experience and that experience. But I guess if you're blinded, I think brainwashing only goes so far. At some point, you have to be comfortable with it and okay with it and accept it. Let it just kind of just wash over you. At some point, you have to give up and just get lazy and believe that shit because it's easy to do that. It's like in Dumb and Dumber, when they were going up the mountain on that moped, and he says, I got to pee. And he says, just let it go, man. Just let it go. And when he did, what did he say? He said, ooh, that's warm. It's warm. It's comfortable. Yeah, sure. And because it takes away your personal responsibility. It's no longer your fault. No matter what you do, you just can't make it. So you can just kind of let the wheel go and let, this made up boogeyman drive your life for you. And that shit is just stupid. And I'm so thankful that my parents never allowed me to be crippled by that, even though someday I like to think I would have snapped out of it, but I never had an opportunity to get, blinded by that or go into that coma to wake up out of it. Like you mentioned, Steven Seagal style, hard to kill with the long beard and the long hair. I never had to wake up out of that coma because my parents never let me be put into it. So that shit is ridiculous. And at some point it takes laziness where you just accept it. Like, yeah, fuck it. I don't have to perform.
Yeah, it is manufactured consent to some degree. You know what I mean? It's I was raised the same as you, even though my dad is an Arab immigrant, and Arabs have not had the greatest relations with the United States in the last 30 years. There's been a little bit of conflict. You may have
rocky.
Heard. And then on the other side, it's mostly Mexican, and that hasn't been a basket of roses either. And I was never taught to be a victim or that this country was evil or the white man was going to get me. I was never taught that. I remember being like 6 years old or 7 at my grandparents' house, and something came on, the news, 60 Minutes or whatever one night. And I was in there, and my grandparents were in there watching. And it said something racism. And I asked my grandpa, what is racism? Why are they saying the white man doesn't like this man? It made no sense to me as a kid. And my grandpa told me, basically, to paraphrase, I'm not going to quote because I don't remember exactly, It's nonsense, is what he told me. It's nonsense. He said there are bad white people, there are bad black people, there are good white people, there are good black people. It's like the individuals. That's what he told me. He's like, he said, yes, there are racist people, but I remember this is the quote. He said, we wouldn't be anything if it wasn't for the good white people that helped me. Because my grandpa was born in 1918, Great Depression, and there was real racism back then, 100 and something years ago.
The good stuff.
Yeah, and he went off to World War II, and he came back, and he worked on a farm as a farmhand and a cowboy and all that in Colorado, and he worked for a white lady named Miss Davis. She had a big farm, bunch of cattle, all this stuff up there. And there was racism against Mexicans. It was hard to get a loan and all that, and he wanted to open a Mexican restaurant and tortilla factory, and they wouldn't take him seriously because he was Mexican. This is, in the late 40s, early 50s. And Miss Davis loved my grandpa because he was such a hard worker for years for her on her farm. She went to the bank as a rich white woman, and she told the bank, you give Tim Duran whatever he wants, I'll sign for it. So that's what my grandpa told me. If it wasn't for the good white people, we wouldn't be anything, because and my grandparents' restaurant was super successful. They made a good restaurant, but they were the #1 manufacturer of tortillas from Colorado to the West Coast in like the 60s. Like Mission Tortilla.
Mm-hmm.
That's who beat my grandparents out, like in the late 70s or something like that. Eventually took their spot. But they used to be the big dog of tortillas back in the 60s. And that was Miss Davis helping my grandpa get business loans and all that. So I was always taught racism is stupid. You're not a victim. That's nonsense. And I think the vote reflects that people have just had enough. It's like when a father finally goes, stop, and the kids roll. You know what I mean? People have just culturally had enough of this victim. Lisa Simpson is always a little bitch, and she's always, well, actually, guys, vegetarian. It's enough. Everyone has had enough of these people.
Yeah, my dad told me the same thing, and more importantly than what he told me is what I saw. I saw him have friends of all different colors, white friends,
right?
That helped us out. He helped them out. Friendships. And my dad told me the same thing. He said, bad people come in all different colors. He never poisoned me with that bullshit, because that's exactly what it is. It's poison. You're telling them, you're lying to them. You're passing on that intellectual laziness to your kids. Damn good and well, every white person is this or they're this because they're white. That's stupid. Sorry ass, folks that share my complexion. So that's not the deciding factor. It's who you are as a person. So my dad would always tell me that shit. And my grandpa grew up in the South during the Depression. He was born in 1921. That's when racism was like, whoo, it's hot in here. Shit. Whites only, blacks only, the real shit, that good old fashioned, that quality racism. It's like furniture. You got that quality shit that's been passed down from your grandparents. So you got that IKEA bullshit. And right now we have that IKEA racism. It's manufactured. It's not real. It's flimsy. But they were back then when shit was made out of trees and was cut by hand. That salt of the earth racism. And one thing that he never told me, he never complained about racism. He never complained about no white man doing nothing to him or the system was rigged. He never told me that. He told me plenty of stories, but it was about him in the army or some fight he got into, or one time they were waiting in a soup line during the Depression. We came that close to some damn soup lines, and he's waiting in a soup line, and his sister comes over and says that some man pushed her out of line and took her spot. So he picked up a rock and threw that shit, hit that fool right between his eyes, and he had the baby horse legs, the newborn deer legs.
Yeah.
And he never had a problem again. And every time he saw that guy, that fool would cross the street. So he told me plenty of stories of, how he used to work in a slaughterhouse when he was 12, hitting cows between the eyes if the shot to the head didn't kill him. But he never told me any bullshit, and he could have. I'm sure his life was probably ripe with stories of racism, but he didn't think enough of it to tell me about it. He just went along with his life and was very successful business owner, multiple homes, served in World War II and the Korean War. So to tell me now, you're telling me now we're dealing with racism when he was born in 1921 in Southern America?
literal Jim Crow laws and stuff, like it was actually real.
Literally, like literally.
Yeah.
When he was
like,
10 years old, it was 1931. And you're
right.
telling me that today, somehow, some
It's
way,
worse.
we're still doing. Oh, yeah. In some cases, it's worse.
Right.
Okay, dog.
Right.
Exhume the body of somebody from his era and ask them when they would rather live. They probably rather live back in the 30s. They see
Right.
this bullshit, they're like, man, send me back.
But
Get me out of here.
to expand on my theory, and I really think I'm right. I really think I'm right about this landslide is a key showing that this woke shit is over culturally. So there was a video game that came out in the last quarter. 8 years in development. They say $400 million budget. Sony, and look how ugly these characters are. There's no white men as
Come
heroes.
on.
Everyone fat and ugly, and
Wait, how
everything is
much? How much?
400 million at least. So we don't know the real numbers. There's rumors. 400 million. They
Shit.
made a special version of the PlayStation, I think, controller of the console you could buy. They said the people that made this were so proud of themselves with their pronouns in their bio. What the leader of this, like the main video game developer, who was the woman who led this project, she called herself the professor. And she would have these regular meetings where she would talk to all the artists and writers and everybody and give them social justice lessons and how do we make this inclusive and blah, blah, just nonsense, just absolute nonsense. This thing came out and it's a live service game. So it's an online shooter like Call of Duty where you fight other people around the world. $400 million, many years in development, $1 bajillion to promote it. It lasted 9 days. And then Sony pulled it off its online service.
Hey, Gabe, I have a question.
Huh.
What happened to their tits?
Yeah, see, if you like boobs, Jericho, that means that you're a misogynist. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean you're a normal man. It means you're a misogynist.
But there's a place for that. I'm not saying the cover or whatever this is needs to be void of females, but I'm gonna need to see some cleavage. I'm gonna need you to be in more of the damsel in distress, or maybe clinging, to his right side, clinging to his arm or something, like more of the, he's rescuing her, like them standing there with guns, like get the fuck out of here. And there's no distinction between the male bodies and the female bodies. That's more like it. Hips,
well, this
curves.
is another game that came out around the same time from a Korean developer, and they're not all woke over there. They reject it. It's called Stellar Blade. It sold jillions of copies. People love it, and it's still coming out. And one of the big points of this game is how sexy the outfits are for the main character. And they release new outfit. You dress her up like a Barbie. It's sci-fi. She's running around shooting lasers, killing robots, all that. It sells very well, and it's very successful.
Because she's basking in her femininity.
These are the kind of people that want to order a vegetarian tofu pizza at the party.
And they all talk like this. Like, actually, that's not
Jericho, you shouldn't eat pepperoni pizza.
That's the XS6000 laser gun. It's actually the XS6001. So, like, actually, I know it better. Like, shut the fuck up.
Was that pepperoni sustainably resourced?
Yeah.
Like tofu.
Do you have body cam footage of the pig, like as it was growing up before you
These
killed
are
it?
These are white dudes for Harris.
What hey, just turn your penis and your testicles into your closest receptacle, because you're not gonna need them anymore, because you're a pussy that says white dudes for Kamala Harris. How can you be more neutered than that?
So this game, $400 million at least. 9
Damn, that's a lot of money.
9 days. And then it was aborted. It was just a clump of cells, and they aborted it after 9 days. But here's the good news. Here's why I think things are changing. I'm going to show you some examples. Here's why I think this vote is putting the woke on notice. Look what, I love his name too. Sony president, COO and CFO Hiroki Totoki says, PlayStation is done making games like Concord, and moving forward from 2025 and all years after that, they will release multiple AAA single-player games PlayStation is known for. This guy's like, listen, my chair, the stockholders, they really want to fire people if they don't make money for the stockholders.
Wait,
and when you make this, which is just like a lecture instead of a video game about how racist you are, nobody buys it, nobody wants it. $400 million, dude, it didn't last 9 days.
If it lasted 9 months, that wouldn't have been long enough. That would have been a failure. If it
Right.
lasted 9 months, 9 days, that's not even enough time. It was so bad that the small amount of people that did see it shit on it so bad that they pulled it after 9 days. $400 million. Everybody should be fired.
There's been about 3 or 4 major releases from the French developer, one of the biggest ones, Ubisoft. They had a pirate game. It was woke. They had a Star Wars Outlaws, but instead of Han Solo, it had a woman dressed just like Han Solo with no boobs, of course, and it was wonky and crappy again. They've had about 3 or 4 horrible failures this year, Ubisoft, and it's over like $1 billion. So I guess they're gonna be laying off staff and be sold. One of the biggest, most successful video game companies tanked themselves.
Dumbasses.
And here's another one. EA, you've heard of EA. And BioWare, Dragon Age, The Veilguard. This game sells millions of copies. This is the latest sequel. It came out 2 weeks ago, sold 500,000 copies, and it's all, you can create your own characters in the character creation screen.
What the
and
fuck
you could do top scars, like you did trans surgery to remove your boobs. That's part of it. And when there's sliders, like taller, bigger, muscles, this, big butt, small butt. The boobs on the women, you can't make them bigger, because of course that's misogyny.
Oh, what are they there for?
So this game is a failure. It's not going to make a profit. Heads are going to roll. People are going to get laid off. And I think the Trump thing is like, everyone is sick of this crap and speaking up. And I would just say the people that make a fantasy game, everyone loves fantasy. And then this guy looks like he sounds like this. My mom, I can't go. My mom's coming over. I made soup for my mom, and she'll be mad if I'm late. He does not look like an action hero.
Yeah, it looks like I have to go pick up the refill for my zone. Like, that looks fucking sad.
I was just telling people that made it. Make this. I made this with the Grok AI. This will make money.
Look at the woman. That's gonna make people mad, and that's gonna make boners go away. There's a place for women in this video game world, but I'm not talking about the regular world. I'm not saying that women need to be walking around with their tits hanging out. But in the world of fantasy video games, there is a certain standard for the female characters, and flat-chested, no-hip, angry puss eaters is not it, and it never will be. Right. $400 million for 9 days. If somebody said, I'm going to send you on a 9-day, $400 million vacation, what would you be expecting? Fucking caviar for every meal. You're going to get a $400 million worth of vacation in 9 days. That's going to be the craziest.
You can't do it. There's no way to have a vacation. They'd have to give you half ownership of the Buffalo Bills at the end of it to finish spending the money.
But it would be the craziest, most over-the-top, opulent, extravagant, expensive vacation ever if you're going to squeeze that kind of money into 9 days. And they did that, and it gave you this. That looks like shit. The guy in the middle, he even looks like shit. Like his face. Why is that green chick looking down? What, man, this is fucking stupid.
They're ashamed that they're in the game. But again, let's go back to my point about the Trump landslide is a cultural thing. Kotaku is one of the biggest video game news websites. They're laying all kinds of people off. Okay. MSNBC on the chopping block. Rumors Comcast is going to sell it.
Yeah.
CNN going to dump their top stars. No one's watching this. I think what everyone just found out is the legacy media controlled by the elite uniparty that wants to brainwash everyone with filth, divide and conquer, and just so they can get all their stupid wars and all the shit they want and ruin the family and weaken us. Because when you destroy families, you weaken the American public. That's the point of it. That's the whole point of messing up with kids with all this pervert shit and all that, and promoting feminism and divorce and endless abortions. The whole point is to destroy the family, because families are unstoppable. Families and then communities of family, completely unstoppable. And the elites and the government know that. And that's why, and all of this woke shit, Jericho, you'd be shocked how in bed with the government and different governments around the world they're in bed with. Getting grants from the European Union, getting grants from the Biden, like American government and all that to make this filth, dude.
Yeah. So and why would the government need to be involved in video games?
Right. To keep the population divided, conquered, stupid, and angry.
Exactly.
Even this guy, Hollywood royalty. I would
Ah,
assume he's a liberal, but look at him. Michael Douglas admits Republicans under Trump are now the party of the people, while Democrats are elitists. I love it.
yep,
He doesn't give a
yep,
fuck. He's like 80 years old. They can't cancel him. You
yep.
know.
And
I
he's
love
right.
it.
And
So,
go back to that last picture you were at, Gabe.
which one?
This one, or yeah, the 3 CNN jackasses. You
Oh.
know that when they found out that Trump was going on Joe Rogan, they were all in their houses or their apartments, wherever they live, angry, throwing around their cats and their dildos, Anderson Cooper included, because they knew what kind of numbers that was going to get. That shit within a couple days had 40 million views. They don't get that in a couple years. I don't care how bad they're slamming Trump or whatever latest scandal they're covering about Trump, because Trump is everything to their existence. It doesn't matter. That shit's not working. Anderson Cooper, that's like the face of their company. I recognize that ugly one on the end, but you're going to start dropping these people because no matter what, and no matter how long it takes, it comes down to business. And they're in the business. No matter what your business is, you're in it to make money. Yeah, there's some passion behind it. I love to do this, but I'm trying to make money. You can't write your mortgage company a check with passion. So yeah, we got to make some money here. So they're not doing that, and they held on to him as long as they could. You got all these crazy stories and shit, but Trump is in, and more importantly than that, because if this election were close, they would still have a leg to stand on in their mind. But the fact that it was
so important before Elon bought Twitter, then he bought it, and then he exposed the internal memos and emails, and it was all government telling Twitter what they could and couldn't say, who they could block, who they shadow ban, who they promote, because the government is well aware, the powers that be, the elites, and everyone listen to this, they hate you. You're not even a peasant to them. You're an animal. You are livestock. You are cattle to them. Work, pay your taxes so they can all be rich bastards and then die. That's what they want. They hate you so much. All the elite institutions hate you so much. It's ridiculous. And they've lost control of the narrative. And I think like Elon Musk saved the West by buying Twitter. They can't hide. They can't control the narrative. Joe Rogan, Elon, other friends of mine that have gigantic, I mean, look at your influence. You're closing in on 400,000. Guys, subscribe. I'm almost to 10,000 here on YouTube. We are the media now. And there's just me and you. There's no one telling me what to say or do or some agenda. I got to push shit I don't believe in. That's why I left DC Comics. They wanted me to push shit I don't believe in that I think is abhorrent and evil, and I wouldn't do it. I'm out of here. No, fuck that. I'm not doing that. And I really do think all this stuff, I love how much you love this, costing $400 million.
That's insane.
The biggest blockbuster movies don't cost that much almost,
But we're not talking building like a structure, like a physical thing. Like this is all on computers. Number one, what the fuck is all that money going to? But number
it's
two,
going to endless. Well, guys, I designed a swamp level. We should all fly to Louisiana and take pictures and go. I guarantee you they're just throwing money around because these communists at heart, social justice people, they're not disciplined, hardworking people. And that's why they resent successful people and ruin everything. I guarantee you hand them a black Amex corporate card and they're just throwing money like it's going out of style.
That's so stupid. Like your example, fly down to Louisiana and look at the swamp. You could easily contact
Google
somebody.
Pictures.
You could do that, get public images, or have somebody go out there who's in Louisiana, take the picture, and then send it to you.
Right. Look at Kamala's thing, raising $1 billion and going into debt by the time it's over.
Yeah, you could wait a minute, bitch. You got $1 billion and you're in the hole 20 million? What did you spend that on? Where are the receipts for your purchases? But we're supposed to give her the keys to the city and let her run the whole damn country when she can't even handle her own campaign budget. Man, we dodged such a big ass bullet. I'm so glad, I'm so glad the left is freaking out and losing their mind and still talking shit. Fuck them all. But you know what? Rising tide lifts all boats, even if the boats are painted like rainbows and they cry like bitches all the time and they're perverts. It's going to raise their boat as well. And they can say what they want in public, but they know damn good and well when they're alone with their bank statement that Trump did a good thing. I can't wait. I can't wait for him to get in office. The moment he steps in, he's probably going to say, hey, stop the celebration, lovely band, great music. He's probably going to stop his own inauguration and be like, "We're good. We're sworn in. Let's go. Let's get to work right now."
Right. Look at
Right
this.
now.
So to try and match the Joe Rogan thing, Harris' campaign reportedly spent 6 figures on Call Her Daddy podcast with fewer than 1 million YouTube views. So
Yeah,
I
to
don't know
build
what
the
the money is,
set.
but so Call Her Daddy is some stupid, entitled, like feminist woman, like sleep around, have abortions. That's like basically the point of the show.
Yeah.
And it's got millions of followers, I guess, or whatever, but they didn't even get 1 million views. Look at the set they're sitting in. 2 chairs, coffee table, plants, some bookshelves, a couple pictures, and a logo on the back. You're telling me they spent 6 figures to film this? What in the world could they have spent the money on?
Yeah,
That's
where'd
why
it
I think
go?
it's like money laundering, and I'm not accusing them of that, YouTube. Allegedly, I think it could it be that. But I think, the people who work for Kamala, all the hundreds of employees are like, we're going on Call Her Daddy in 2 weeks. I need you to build us a set to do the interview. And then someone's like, oh, I'm thinking of these old English chairs. Let's fly to London and research chairs. And I guarantee you that's the kind of shit they did with the black Amex card. I
It's so
guarantee you
wasteful.
that coffee table in the middle, you get at IKEA for 160. I guarantee you they're spending $5,000 on the coffee table or whatever, just like idiots.
Has to be.
Like,
But it's easy to spend other people's money. That's what the government does so well. There's
right.
that famous quote from Reagan where he says, people say the government spends like a drunken sailor. Well, that's an insult to drunken sailors, because at least the sailors are spending their own money. We've all been to company parties and stuff where everything's paid for, an open bar at a wedding. That's where you see people get shit-faced because it's free. They're not paying for it. So they're consuming more, they're wasting more. They could have easily, where was this, LA or something? They could have easily found a place that probably rents out their podcast space for you to film your podcast there. I'm sure much cheaper.
What about this girl that interviewed her? She does the podcast. Where's her studio? Fly there and just do it.
Yeah. Or
why did you build a fake studio? Why did you build a fake studio?
In LA, you couldn't find somebody that probably would have let you film it there for free.
I hope that, here's what I hope when you said to Los Angeles. I hope this girl in the purple, I hope her studio is in LA. And I hope Kamala's team flew to LA and built a fake studio like 5 miles from the real studio. I hope it's that stupid.
Hers behind that. They built it right in front of hers. They're all, this sucks. And they just built it right in front of her.
Right.
Stupid
You
set.
tell me where you see $100,000 in this picture.
I don't see it. Maybe in the medication that girl needs to take to keep that vag from making loaves of bread. I don't know, man, but that's completely a waste of money. And why would she say, wait a minute, you did what? I know she has a team and she's not involved in everything, but you spent what on this bullshit?
But they paid that Megan Thee Stallion. They said $5 million to. I love the Megan Thee Stallion video of her twerking and dancing at one of the Kamala rallies, because you see all like the middle-aged white women in the crowd kind of like looking a little scared and confused.
Like, wait a minute. I thought this was a rally, not a fucking sideshow. That was $5 million for that. Right. Why take the money? Why not just come? Because remember, it's either Kamala or Hitler, Kamala or a fascist. So you didn't feel a civic duty, a sense of civic duty to come and perform or speak for free, because it's not about Kamala. We're going to have Hitler in the White House, right? So wouldn't you feel a need to go and do your part as a citizen of America? Don't worry about it. I can afford, I can fly myself out to speak because we're staring down the barrel of Hitler, right?
Right. And then, she was caught between a rock and a hard place there with Rogan, because persuasion works whether you like it or not. Even if you disagree with an argument, your subconscious, your feelings part of your brain, it believes good persuasion when it hears it. Even if you think it's not true, you're persuaded. Her not going on Rogan persuades what?
People not to believe in her. Yeah, she's scared.
Well, that she's scared. She's scared to go. Right. Everyone thinks she's afraid to go do it. And she may or may not have been scared, but that's the persuasion. And we even leftist supporters of her, they feel it too. Everyone feels it when you think about the situation. Yeah. It would have been hilarious to see her go, though. I was hoping she would go. It would have been the greatest 3 hours of nonsense of all time. It
would have been like watching a car wreck that lasts 3 hours.
I remember the first time I saw Borat, I had to turn it off. I couldn't take it. It was too much. It was just too much cringe humor.
You definitely need to cut off the interview and like walk around outside for like 10 minutes and let your cringe go down.
Yeah, I think that if Kamala had gone on Rogan, I don't know if I could have sat through the whole 3 hours. I would just been like, I can't believe this woman.
What was she? I think at a certain point she would have ran out of words, because okay, once we get through all the bullshit in a middle class family and get through all of her catchphrases, we still have 2.5 hours to go. So what is she gonna say? Is she just gonna cry and like fall on the floor and ball up and shit herself? What's she gonna do? How does she have 3 hours worth of shit to talk about?
I have no idea, dude. But I really do think we're here. I think we are, and I think we're back. I think we're getting the 80s. I think because Trump.
Oh, which one is? Oh, my bad. Never mind. I thought it was Temple of Doom. I was like, no fucking way. That's the one you pulled up.
I think Trump.
You're a hater.
I think we're specifically going to the 80s, not the 70s, not the 90s. I think we're going to the 80s, where everyone was pro-America, pro-family, pro-future. The sky is the limit. Mm-hmm. I, you, he, she, anyone can do anything if they work hard. That pursuit of happiness, the pursuit of the American dream, it was palpable in the 80s. Everyone felt like they could be anything as long as they, did it right and worked hard. And I think we're going back to that. I think we're going to go back to the kind of entertainment that is traditional, inspiring heroism. And I can't wait. And I know I'm making it at Big Man Comics. I'm already making it. I've been making it for years. But I think the mainstream is going back to this stuff. I really do. I just think this stuff is just too big to ignore. You know what I mean? This stuff here, there's so many signs there. This guy saying, hey, listen, 400 million is a lot of money, guys.
Damn.
It's a lot of money,
Damn.
For 9 days, dude, it got yanked off the internet. 9 days.
Like everybody involved in that project, we're not even going to put out a memo. You know who you are. Pack up your shit and just leave. Even I want the janitor who was on shift when that was happening, the security guard, everybody who was in the building when they made that shit, you are fired. And burn that building to the ground and then knock it down with a fucking wrecking ball. And don't build any, treat it like one of those Indian burial grounds in a movie. Don't even build anything on this fucking tainted land ever again, because you took 400 and then 6 zeros behind it and gave me something that had a shelf life of 9 days. That's around $50 million a day. $40-some million a day up in smoke. And they still have jobs?
Can you imagine losing $100,000 for your employer? Let alone $1 million, let alone 400 million.
You're gone. Leave the country. Leave the country. Get some doctor like from Batman who carved up the Joker's face. Get somebody to change the way you look and leave the country, because I'm looking for you for the rest of my life, because you stole $400 million from me and gave me dog shit.
Remember Top Gun Maverick about 3 years ago? And it was in theaters for like 7 months. People are so hungry for this. And there's a concept in psychology called a cascade preference. Imagine a crowd of people all being bullied, and one of them stands up, and then 2, and then 3, and then they all stand up. All 100 people finally stand up to the bullies. That's what's happening with Trump. Everyone has felt this way for years. I've talked to people for years, and I'll say something Trump political and anti-woke, and the people go, I know, right? But they've been afraid. I think so many people have finally stood up that we're just going to mock these people and laugh at them now, and they have no power anymore. And they don't have it politically, but I think socially they don't have power anymore. And we are here to make fun of them and tell them how dumb they are and how shitty this art is that they're trying to make. And I am so excited for this stuff to come back and just have amazing entertainment. I don't know. Yeah. I think we're here. I think we're back to 80s action. I think Lethal Weapon style stuff is gonna take over. And no more woke. No more men being the butt of all the jokes and being incompetent morons. No more ugly women being told to me that I have to find them attractive when they're like big, fat, wildebeest women. No, I don't have to like that. No.
Yeah, and a boy is a boy and a girl is a girl.
Oh, Jericho.
Don't tell me. I know it's old school and it's a real barbaric throwback. But yeah, boys are boys, girls are girls, and don't tell me that I need to date or find trans women attractive or there's a problem. No, dude, you got a dick. I got a real strict, and this is something I'm proud of because I've stuck to this my entire life. One dick policy. When I'm in the room doing what I got to do, there can only be one dick there. So if you have one, that's cool. Go find somebody else who likes them too. But as a heterosexual male, no, I'm not going to like that. I'm never going to like that. I find it repulsive, and I don't understand how women like that. I'm glad they do, but I don't understand how they can do that. The male body to me is revolting, but that's life as a straight man, and you're not going to change that.
You
I
don't,
don't care
you
what
wouldn't
policy.
wait. If you were sad and you needed comforting, you wouldn't want Arnold to embrace you in his muscular arms and his rough hands to caress the tears off your face.
Dude, if he's ready to meet the angels, let's go.
Then he'll look deep into your eyes and tell you that you are his world. You don't like that? That's not appealing to you?
No, I'll look him in the eyes and say, "Screw your freedoms." Boom. It's
How
over.
did he
Arnold,
turn out to be a
fucking
turbo
kid.
cock, this guy?
Fucking-
How did he
Look at
turn out
this.
to be this?
This is the epitome, not only of 80s action movies, but of what people want now. Like Gabe mentioned, Top Gun Maverick was in the movie theaters from spring to winter. All right. It was seasons that fucking movie was in the movie theater. And it's not because Tom Cruise is cool. He's a good actor. Look at the stunts. No, it was in there that long because people wanted it. They wanted to see more of it. I wonder how many people went there and saw it more than once. Because for it to be there that long, I'm sure a significant amount of people went there and saw it more than once because it was that good, because they were so starved for it. If you're starving and hungry, you're going to do one lap around the buffet? Probably not. You're probably going to hit it a few times because you're starving. And this is so easy because there is template after template out there for them to just copy and paste. Look at this poster. Muscles, guns. Good guys are good. Bad guys are bad. Let's get out of here.
Right.
Case
And Top Gun
closed.
Maverick, which who knew if it was going to be a hit or not, released in the middle of the lockdowns and all that. It is the 13th highest grossing movie of all time. It was higher ranked before, but some movies have come out since, like Inside Out 2 and some other stuff that made more money. But it peaked at the 11th highest grossing movie of all time. And it wasn't like a Marvel movie or something like that. You know what I mean? It's a 30-year-old franchise from the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And people just want that. They just, it's men. They're brave. They're heroes. They fight. I did like how they had one female pilot and she was the one that crashed. So I like the sexism there.
Bitch, you gonna crash. And it wasn't filthy. You know, hey, I'm
No.
all for some titties or a strip club scene in an 80s movie, but it's a family movie, period. I watched it with my family. I saw that movie 3 times. I watched it in the theater. Went on a date night with some friends of ours. We watched it when it came out with my family, my wife and kids. And then we watched it again. I think it was last Thanksgiving or Christmas time when a bunch of family was in town. And all the kids and everybody sat down and watched that movie. It was an amazing movie. The opening scene when they're doing the test flight for that plane.
That crazy
plane.
plane.
That shit was so cool, man.
Yeah. And I take pride in living very near to Top Gun, or what used to be Top Gun here in Miramar. Is right by me over here. I could, when they do the air show in October, from many parts of San Diego, you can see the jets flying and pulling maneuvers. Like the week leading up to the show, they practice.
Yeah, that shit's fun. We used to live near where they had the air show too. And that shit was fun.
Yeah, Top Gun right here. Top Gun is right here. That's the Miramar Marine Corps Air Station. It was the Naval Air Station forever. But yeah, this is what people want, and I'm going to make it at bigmancomics.com. You can go there and get my stuff, Dean Cain, All-American Lawman. We finished the Pencils on Imperium. That's 120 pages. It's going to be an awesome graphic novel. And until November 30th only, you can get the Christmas variant cover. If you order by November 30th, all orders by November 30th, guaranteed delivery before Christmas. Domestic orders only, not international. Domestic orders only. So pick that up. I think we're entering a golden age of entertainment, buddy. We're going to get it all back. Beautiful women, heroic men, bad guys, awesome one-liners. Remember when I said I'd kill you last? I lied.
He just dropped it, that stupid Sully.
I wanted to talk to you about two other. First, I want to show you something I thought was funny. This lady, a woman loses her mind after she was pranked that Kamala Harris actually won the presidential election. Let me show you this. Have you seen this?
I feel like she's gonna have a southern accent.
It looks
haven't
like
seen
she
it
got,
before.
yeah, it looks like she says stuff like some bitch and y'all.
What?
Hold on, let me share
She doesn't
this.
say what. She says what?
Okay, here it is. Okay, here we go.
They just found a batch of new ballots, 40 million new ballots. Kamala Harris is president-elect.
Bullshit! She better not have.
Bullshit.
They're hiding files. What?
She's your president,
She
Tina.
ain't my president.
She just won the election.
A woman can't run this country.
Ah, not if it's like you.
Oh, I get it straight.
Hey, I vote for her before Kamala. Get that woman in the White House right now.
You know what this? You know what this woman wouldn't do? She would not lose you 400 million in 9 days. That's what
Hell
she
no.
wouldn't do.
That woman's pinching penny. She'll make you 400 million
That's right.
in 9 days. She'll take
That's
that
right.
400 million and flip it, make it 800.
Yeah, I love this. I love this
Shit.
lady. That's so
What?
funny.
She ain't my president. Shit.
My wife sent me that. That's hilarious. She what?
She said, I'll get it right.
I love
What's
how
your way,
to
bro?
make the lie more believable. He goes turbo. He's like, they found 40 million
40.
ballots.
That's
like a
so
third of
many
the
fucking
electorate.
ballots. That's so many fucking ballots.
That's how many people live in California, allegedly.
No, that's like all the ballots. That's
Yeah.
a lot of fucking
Gee,
ballots.
what?
They,
Oh.
they were just stashed away in like a warehouse. They found 40
Oh my
million
God.
votes.
And of
40
course, they
million
found them
ballots.
at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
course they found
Well,
it.
I mean, we're sitting here calling them ballots, but if you quote the great Joe Biden, or as I call him, Sloppy Joe, the battle box. So they found all those in the 40 million votes in a battle box.
What did he say? He killed Medicare or something like that. He says all kinds of great stuff.
He goes, Trump was like, I don't know what he just said right there, and I don't think he knows.
Did you
What
see
he
him
said.
today? A reporter asked him, do you think you could get a ceasefire in Gaza? And he said, do you think that microphone behind you will hit you in the head?
No, hold on. Stupid.
Oh, you lost it.
All right, say that again.
He was having a press conference in the White House, and someone asked him, do you think you can get a ceasefire in Gaza or something? And he said, do you think that camera behind you can hit you in the head? I'm not even kidding. I have no idea what he's talking about, but it was hilarious. Here it is. I'll show it to you. Hold on. Let me pause this. Are you still there? Because you went silent. Oh, I can hear now. I just didn't know if you could hear me.
Hold on, I'm having some.
Technical difficulties for Mr. Jericho. When you're back, let me know, and I'll play this. But yeah,
There we go. There we go.
okay. So this happened
hear
with
you now.
Biden
Can you hear me?
today. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Uh-oh. Yep.
Okay. This happened with Biden like this afternoon. Here we go. Listen.
President Biden, do you think that you can get a hostage deal by the end of your term?
Do you think you can get hit in the head by the camera behind you?
Okay.
That was his answer to can you get a hostage deal done?
That dude is fucking crazy.
He is gone, that guy.
He's like, dude, I don't care about nothing, man. I got 1 foot at the beach right now. Fuck you guys.
Right.
Wow.
Didn't they say like half his presidency's been spent on vacation or something like that?
Yeah. I think he beat the Bush Jr. for
good work
most
if you can find
days.
it.
Most days fucking around.
Huh. Well, that's the stuff I have for you today. Now, going forward on Double Impact, we're going to talk current event stuff and culture war stuff, but we will have a movie segment every week where we talk about a movie like we used to, but not for 2 hours. We're going to pick one every week. We'll have just a few photos and say why we love it and what's basically comparing the old culture, the good stuff, to the new stuff, the $400 million failures. I want to leave it with this, Jericho. I want you to sum up a message of hope. Look at all these people being laid off and sold. A message of hope to people to tell them this is real. This is happening. I think we're getting our culture back. Please tell the audience what you believe about that.
I believe every word of it. Again, we go back to the results. Forget about what people say. Forget about I'm not voting for Trump, or forget about what you hear all the talking heads say. And that goes from the national media all the way down to local media. We've all seen the clips of your local news station parroting the same bullshit that you hear from CNN or the AOCs of the world. So top to bottom, you look at the results of the election, and all of what people say don't matter. Even if people are telling you in public, man, I'm not voting for Trump. Obviously, a lot of those people really were, because it was a resounding hell no and fuck you to the left, electoral votes wise, and the popular vote. He beat out Clinton, because that's what they always say. Well, she won the popular vote. Well, so did Trump by way more. So this is a rebuke. This is a rebuke of all of that bullshit from the left that we've been suffering through. We've been right here trying to keep our heads above water with all this woke nonsense. And now the waters are receding. And now not only are we going to be able to be successful, but we're going to be more successful than we ever have before. And I don't think Trump is going to come in office on a vengeance tour, although there's part of us that would love to see that. I think what we would like to see more, and what would be better for the long run, is for us to be prosperous economically, internationally. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Forget about what people say. Look at what they've done. The American people have spoken. The American people collectively have said, we're tired of this shit. Don't tell me that ugly is beautiful and that beautiful is ugly, because my life experience and my hormones and the blood going downstairs is telling me that beautiful is what I always thought it was.
The woman on the right is obviously a real human being, an actress named Humberly Gonzalez. That is the face scan and character model of her in the new Star Wars game that came out and flopped. She should be able to sue them for doing this to her.
Yeah. And what a name, Humberly, for a girl that doesn't look very Humberly.
What is going on here?
Well, that's disgusting. Why get her? Why did you get her?
The one on the left is...
Yeah, the one on the left is had a list. Why would you get her? Why even get that woman to scan her face? Just get some ugly pig face woman to do it.
You could have just, you could have made the ugly shit for free. What did you pay this woman a salary for?
Man. And they're trying to tell you that on the left is better looking than the one on the right. When you
only like the one on the right because you're a pervert, Jericho, obviously.
Yeah, I'm a misogynist. Don't forget that lovely word that they've breathed new life into. But you know that in your mind and your loins, that the one on the right is obviously the more beautiful woman, but that's what they've been trying to do. And another message of hope is, look at all the things we've endured. Look at all the lies and the gaslighting and the propaganda that they threw at us, and none of it sticked. And none of it stuck. None of it stuck. They were the little chimpanzees in the zoo throwing their shit at us for the last 4 years, and none of it stuck. We weathered the storm. We took all their haymakers and uppercuts and hooks and body shots, kidney punches. We took it all. And we said, that's enough. Get out of here. Bzz. Like Chris Rock said in Fifth Element. Bzz. Get out of here with that shit. None of it worked. We survived. Now we're back in control. Now this shit's going to be right again. Sit there and shut up.
It's morning in America again, and it's morning in the entertainment world again. Oh, so awesome. Guys, there's links in the description for Green's house. JG Talk on Instagram, regular old Jericho Green on YouTube. He's on Twitter as Green_Jericho. I'm on Facebook and Instagram and here on YouTube as Gabe Eltaeb. Make sure you're subscribed and you like it. On Twitter, on X, I'm Big Man Comics. And go to bigmancomics.com. Get yourself some t-shirts, some comics and all that. If you order by November 30th, it will be to you before Christmas. Domestic orders only, USA only. Guys, we love it. We'll be back live soon. I just had to do this recorded one because it's my wedding anniversary on the 13th. But
congratulations.
Thank you. So when you guys are watching this, I'll be with my lady friend having a good old time. Yeah. You know, there'll be some roasted meats and jacuzzis. I don't drink, but if I did, there would have been champagne involved, you know? So it's going to be a nice time. All right, guys, that's it. We will see you next week with more Double Impact. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.